You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome to a very special Sporting Time Show. Unbelievable show. We have coming up in segment 3 and 4 two Mr. Kentucky recipients. We have Turner Butchery and Patrick Forbes, who was just named the recipient of Mr. Baseball. And my first guest, though, is very well known in the softball world. She led the 2007 and 2008 Lady Greenwood Gators to back-to-back state championships. An amazing record. She had 441 strikeouts in just 2 seasons, her junior and senior season, and her overall record was 44-6. It's amazing. I can't go through all of her accolades from high school. We're going to get into her college career here in a few minutes, but I'd like to welcome onto the show now Dr. Rachel Riley. Rachel, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be back talking to you.
You know, we talked a little, just for a second off camera. You helped us out in our 10-year anniversary issue. You had done some things, and now it's 18 years that we've been into it. But you're a doctor. I mean, you're a dentist. You went through, how many years of schooling did you have to go through?
So it was 8, 4 of undergrad and then 4 for dental school.
And what a career. I mean, we'll get to softball in a second, but your professional career, you know, something that you've wanted to do, you've achieved that. What is it like being a dentist?
It's been great. I'm coming up on our 4 years since I opened my dental office. We started from scratch. I'm in Midway, Kentucky, and it's been fun to watch that grow, and we're doing great. Yeah.
That's so. Do you have like the little kids come in as well, and you do it all, right?
I do, yeah. So it's general dentistry. So we don't have any specialties, but never in a million years did I think I would be seeing as many kids as I am. But yeah, I have families, any age really. So really from 3 years old until I've got a patient coming in that's 100 today.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's incredible. So, you know, always the first are so memorable. So do you remember your first patient when you started your practice? The first person that walked through the door and you had to, you know, you're a brand new dentist and...
I think it was my mom.
Is that right? So you got good Yelp reviews? I mean,
I think I had them come up and was like, hey, can we do some like dry runs of like how the office is going to run? And but yeah, I mean, I remember because we saw patients in dental school too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do remember that and being really nervous and you know, having to go to the covering dentist and asking him a million questions and yeah.
So how big is your office? I mean, do you have are you the only dentist? Do you have another dentist with you or?
So yeah, I graduated dental school and started as an associate in Lexington. And then a couple years in, I had gone to a conference that was all about more holistic and natural dentistry, which is, I mean, it's a whole kind of niche in itself.
Yeah.
But I learned about just products and ingredients and how the mouth affects overall health. And it was like, once I learned that, I couldn't unlearn it. And I said, I really want to start a practice, and that's going to be our focus in educating patients on how their mouth can impact their overall health. And so I came back from that conference and I think I called home and said, I'm opening a practice. I got to do this. So started looking at surrounding areas and decided on Midway, and they've been amazing. I love this community here, and they've been welcoming, and I've got patients from all over the surrounding areas, Lexington, Georgetown, Versailles. So
that is so fantastic. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
We've got about 30 seconds left in this segment. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little softball.
Yeah.
I've got to get your input. You're still involved as a pitching coach, or you give lessons. But I do have to read something really quickly for our viewers. University of Kentucky is where Rachel played. As a senior, she started all 60 games. She earned 9 victories. She struck out 87, which was a career high. You drove in 30 runs. An amazing college career as well as high school. But stay tuned. More with Rachel Riley right here on the Sporting Times Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Rachel Riley. Dr. Rachel Riley is my guest today. And Rachel, we talked a little off camera. You were telling me that Kelly Reynolds, the head coach of South Warren today, was your first ever pitching coach. How young were you?
She was, I had to have been maybe 8 or 9. I just remember being in the Warren Central gym and we were on like a basketball line, like I guess the out of bounds line, and we were practicing like dragging straight. I remember doing that with her, and I think her dad may have helped that time too. But yeah, she got me started.
That's amazing, and you know, you still give lessons. We have South Warren is progressing greatly in the state tournament, but they have a 7th grade pitcher who starts for them, who I believe is 15-1 on the season. They have an 8th grader who leads the team with a batting average of .583 as an 8th grader. Greenwood, your alma mater, has 5 8th graders and a freshman on their team. They had a great season. They were 32-8 or whatever. Yeah. What is going on with the fact that you have this youth movement, and they're not just there to fill gaps, they're actually producing?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a lot of things, but I'm just excited to see it. I think, with softball being so visible on TV now, and just seeing the amount of viewers that are watching these games, I think it's incredible for the sport and for just women in general. And I think these kids are seeing what they can accomplish, and it's just motivation.
It's amazing. And how much do you think, the travel ball, and granted, you started at a very young age, and your career at Greenwood was simply amazing. All the accolades that you received, it's a lot of hard work, but in pitching in particular, when you have a 7th grader that gets on a mound and is fearless, has no fear, that can throw, what does that take? The mechanics, the practice, what does it take to become that kind of pitcher so young?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I think there's this intangible quality that just, it's just like this it factor that you have. And I mean, I think preparation too. I'm sure these kids are out working every day, with a coach or a dad, and perfecting their skill, and probably year round. I mean, I remember when, I don't know what age it was. I think it was around middle school that I told my parents I didn't want to do any other sports so that I could lift weights and get stronger in the off season. Because I played basketball, up until that point, and I said I want to really do, pitch all year, find an indoor place and lift and just get stronger so that I could be better and better.
So when you work with, we've got about 2 minutes left. When you work with a young pitcher, what do you stress for them? I mean, because we see them now in the 7th grade, they're just firing in fastballs and they're really, really good. But what do you suggest as far as young kids beginning to learn how to pitch?
Yeah. I mean, I think fastball mechanics is absolutely number one. I think, a lot of kids get to, because it is so visible now, they see all the different pitches. They see the curve and the rise and the screw, and they want to do all these things, but really perfecting the fastball mechanics and being able to locate a spot. I think that's something that I see, when kids struggle, they're not able to throw strikes, or that, they can't really hit a spot. So I think just learning that and getting really, really good at that. And then as you get stronger, the speed will come, and, you can always learn spins, but if the mechanics are there, then then that's really important. And changing speeds too. I mean, you can see the most successful pitchers this year on TV have been ones that have 2 or 3 speeds. So a good change up as well.
Yeah, it's simply amazing. And Rachel, your career, honestly, has been. I mean, you are in the Hall of Fame. You've accomplished so much, not only athletically but academically. You were as good. You are a doctor now, and I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and your practice. Go see Rachel in Midway. Get there.
Yeah,
thank you very, very much. Come back and see us. Let's not make it another 8 or 10 years.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. We really appreciate it. All right, Dr. Riley, coming up, 2 Mr. Kentucky recipients right here on the Sporting Times Show. So don't go anywhere. More of the Sporting Times right here on WNKY, NBC 40. Welcome back. I want to thank Rachel Riley, Dr. Rachel Riley, for taking some time out of her busy schedule to visit with us. And now I got to bring on 2 guys bigger than the state of Kentucky. Not 1, but 2 Mr. Kentucky recipients on the Sporting Times Show. Turner Butchery, Mr. Kentucky basketball, and recently crowned Patrick Forbes, Mr. Kentucky baseball. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
What are the chances? What is the chances of 2 guys from the same school, consecutive sports, basketball right into baseball, getting a Mr. Kentucky nod? I mean, have you figured out the percentages?
I mean, I guess it was 0 before this
Yeah,
year.
it
We were the
was.
first ones to do it.
Yeah, first ones to do it.
You and I talked, Turner, when you were on the show before, when you had just been named Mr. Kentucky basketball. We talked about Patrick, about how he was on the radar. Mm-hmm. Did you guys talk much about it before he was named Mr. Kentucky baseball?
Yeah, we were like when he would always like sometimes see me in the hallway and be like, "What's up, Mr. Basketball?" And I'd be like, "What's up, Mr. Baseball?" Like we would just always kind of joke about it. But then like when it came down to it, it was like, I think he's actually gonna win it. And I was telling another player on the team, Blake Ginner, that I was like, I think he's actually going to win it. So yeah, I was pretty confident in it.
Patrick, you have a lot going on. I mean, you were right in the middle of postseason. You have a lot of stuff going on. You're going to Louisville. You've got pro scouts in the stands watching you. Was Mr. Kentucky baseball on your mind at all?
Yeah, that was the goal going into the season. I mean, I obviously wanted to win as much as I could with my team, but at the end of the day, I wanted that award, and I'm just glad I could get it and share it with one of my friends. We've been buddies since we were freshmen. I don't think when we were freshmen we really thought this would happen, but it's really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Talk about that. So you met Turner your freshman year in high school. Were you always a basketball guy, right? I mean, you always. And Patrick, you were never a basketball guy, right?
No, I just played.
He can dunk though. I tried to get him to play. He can windmill.
I would be really good in warm-ups, but then when the game started, I don't know how good.
He's really athletic. I tried to get him to play, but he
well, that's what happens. Friends try to get their buddies to play a particular sport. So your paths really never crossed in like Little League or junior or rec because you were totally different sports.
Yeah, and he moved here his freshman year.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would make it difficult to have that kind of relationship younger. So you guys, you get named Mr. Kentucky Baseball. How did you find out?
I found out by one of my friends, actually. I was just sitting at my house. It wasn't like Mr. Basketball where they had like a ceremony and all that. One of my friends said congrats to me, and I was like, for what? And then he sent me the screenshot on Twitter. So it was pretty cool.
Wait a second. So they have a big ceremony for you. I remember it. You got all dressed up, and it was a big deal. And you just find out from a friend on Twitter? That's it?
It's all right.
So did they call you? Did they end up calling you and saying, hey, congratulations?
No, they
Nothing.
didn't. I just found it on Twitter and everyone was posting it.
That's amazing. Well, you know, you're still Mr. Kentucky Baseball. It's such an amazing thing because there were a lot of candidates for Mr. You know, I think Nathan Lawson, the young man from Russell County, may have been in that list somewhere. So I mean, there was a lot of candidates for that. Do you get any kind of trophy, or do you get a plaque? Do you get?
Yeah, I think they'll send me a trophy in the mail eventually, after the state championship's over with. But Russell County's still playing. They play today, so I'll be rooting for them.
Yeah. Well, when the show airs, they actually played yesterday, right? Because we air on Saturday. They played yesterday. Real quick, we got 45 seconds left in this segment. What do you think their chances are going beyond the Elite Eight? Do you think that they'll get?
It's actually they're in the Final Four right now.
They're in the Final Four right now?
But I think they definitely can win. They got two of the best pitchers in the state. And they can
'cause
throw one today and one tomorrow in the championship.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, they're really, really good. And like you know, Patrick, you got to have pitching when you get into the postseason to go anywhere. So stay tuned. More with the two Mr. Kentucky recipients right here on the Sporting Times Show. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of the Sporting Times right here on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back, Mr. Kentucky Basketball, Turner Butchery, Mr. Kentucky Baseball, Patrick Forbes. Both of these guys have got so much going on. They took a few minutes out to come in the studio. Thank you guys very much again for doing that. You finished up the Ohio All-Star game. You said it was pretty intense.
Yeah, it was. They had guys committed to Penn State, Florida State, Ohio State, and that was a big win for our state. We ended up winning by 1 in overtime.
That's crazy. Was it just one game then?
Yeah.
Where did you play that at?
It was at Thomas More University, on like the border of Ohio and Kentucky.
Yeah, absolutely. So we mentioned off air that Kentucky is a very serious basketball state, probably the best known basketball state in the country. You were all prepared. You were very serious about it. You said Ohio kind of was a little loosey-goosey to begin with, and then they got the message.
Yeah. They kind of went out there, and I guess they, tried to make it like any other All-Star game, but I didn't think that, we really thought that we were trying to win. We know that's what Indiana will try to do too. They take high school basketball very serious. So. Yeah,
well, this show airs Saturday night, and of course you will have played one game against Indiana Friday night. We don't know the outcome of that, but I'm assuming that you're going to win that. And then you play Saturday night, you go to Indiana to play that game. And where's that played at?
It used to be played at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Pacers Stadium, but now it's played at a really nice high school, Southport High School. It's huge, one of the biggest high schools I've ever seen.
Do you know any of the Indiana All-Stars?
Yeah, there's actually one going to EKU with me.
Okay.
Tayshawn Comer. He's another guard. And then they have a few Purdue commits, a guy going to Indiana, a lot more D1 commits. But yeah, they're pretty loaded.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And Patrick, you've been busy since you finished your high school career. You had an opportunity to go to Atlanta, to the Brave Stadium. You had told me, and do a little workout in front of who?
That was in front of just the Brave scouts and their head of scouting. There was only 5 other kids there with me, and we hit on the field, and then I threw a bullpen, and it was really cool.
What do you wear when you go to do? I mean, are you wearing
They gave me some stuff. They
Seriously?
gave me a hat and shirt and shorts and all that.
Nice. So were there other pitchers there, or there's just other positional players?
No, I was the only pitcher there, and then there was 2 outfielders and an infielder there as well.
Were you nervous? I mean, were you just?
I really wasn't, to be honest. It might surprise you, but
it's amazing to me.
I just thought it was really cool.
Did you say to some of the scouts, do you want to see my mid-90 pitch right off the bat, or do you want me to work into it?
Yeah.
No?
We'll work into it.
So do they ask you, show me your curve or show me your slider?
Yeah, they just tell you, show them everything you got.
Really?
Yeah, so I just threw it all.
What kind of feedback did you get?
They haven't really told me anything yet. I think they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with all their prospects, so we'll see in the next couple of weeks.
How exciting is that? And then you told me that you're headed to the Major League Baseball Combine in San Diego next week, is it?
Yeah, I leave in like 5 days. They'll fly me out there, and I think it's the top 200 draft prospects, so we'll see where I stand with those guys, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I don't really know what I'm going to do yet in regards to the draft or Louisville. I'm still trying to figure that out too.
Well, I'm not going to ask you that question because that's a question I don't like to put any pressure on anybody to answer. I'm glad you brought that up, though. I'm sure our viewers really want to know what's going on there. So you're headed off to San Diego to do a combine. Absolutely no nerves at all.
No, not really. It's just a cool experience.
Yeah.
I always think, like, if I do bad, then, I mean, I can just go to Louisville. That's still a pretty good backup plan.
That's fine. Yeah, that's Louisville fans, yes. I'm sure they appreciate that. So have you guys thought about, 10 years from now, we got about a minute left, 30 years from now when you get together at a reunion, that you two will still be Mr. Kentucky recipients? I mean, how cool is that?
Well, when I won the award, my EKU coach is actually there, and he was like, the first thing that he said to me when he saw me after the ceremony was, he was like, in 20 years it'll mean more than it does now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that I think I'll remember this for my whole life. I'm sure he will too, but hopefully we can win some bigger awards in our career that we'll remember. But
well, guys, you have done fantastic. What a career both of you have had so far, and like you said, Patrick, really the sky's the limit for both of you. I mean, I can't wait to watch you play basketball. Patrick, wherever you are, we'll have eyes on you as well. Thank you very much for coming in today. Viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you guys again. Stay tuned. Sporting Times next week, same time, same place. Have a great week. Good night.